the curtains are still shut. So, it's this like I'm not. It's barely 5 o'clock in the morning, but the I was thinking, I wonder if it makes more light come in. I don't know why the other day it was so dark. That was so weird. Um, because I was trying to turn on more lights. I thought I turned on more lights than normal too. It was like, is the phone doing something weird? Like, but there is weird stuff. And it took longer yesterday for the download, so that gave me up hope on the quantum thing. Plus, I am being so fucking like, even on here, they're like this one went to 400 and it's always like it'll be going like in the daytime, you know, be going up, 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 up on views, and it'll catch my thing because I'll go in and look for comments during the daytime, and or I'll go in to share a TikTok that I find interesting, or something about something I've talked about, or something like a confirmation kind of thing. Well, some of it I've been showing is like what people are like I don't know, learning how to read the energy. This is something like right now I had to go in and talk, and I just got this cup of tea too, as my brain's about to pop. So there's like so much in there. I was like, okay, I've got to fucking start talking. I gotta start get it out of me. So, and one of the things is, and I have to keep taking these deep breaths. I have to keep doing it and doing it all the time. It's so weird. I don't know. I just feel like the energy, like there's an intensity. Like if you're going in a, like think about the water. I always think about the water as a vibration and the density, and we are in very dense energy, and it's very hostile right now. It's intense, man. There's so much different, and then there's like these two opposing forces, and yeah, yesterday this weird ass. Oh God, I've got so much. Like, okay, just be prepared because yeah, this is gonna be a wild ride. I can just see it coming. So, anyways, let's just get a cup. Let's get a swallow first. And I don't have any tunes on because the birds are so loud. I was like, I'm gonna you might be able to hear the birds, but you have to kind of, when you want to hear something in the background, like it's easy for me because I've got the attention deficit, but if you're trying to hear other things, you just got to tune your mind in, like start focusing. Remember, everything in your reality is what you focus on. And you can turn your focus and pull your focus and in and out, zoom in, zoom out. That is where zooming in is fear. Oh, I'm so scared, because you zoomed in on it. You got to zoom out when you zoom in and find a place that's comfortable. So, anyways, but there is this background sound, but right now the heater's on, and that's why the door's not open, because it's fucking chilly, man. And but yesterday, so I'll just say this first, was and I never know what this girl, like what her deal is, so I'm not always prepared for one of her long ass walks. I think she's going on a meandering grass, like I'm gonna go out and eat grass. Oh my God, the cutest thing the other day. When I talk about her being other animals and stuff, yesterday she exhibited, I really think that she was a hippo for sure. I've seen it other things where it's like, oh my God, she's a fucking hippo. And but yesterday, she likes to go on these grass hunts. She's really into this tall, there's a certain grass that she likes, and it seems to grow in the ditch. So I don't know, it has something to do with sewage or whatever. But remember, sewage is also, or the stuff that comes out of us is also being filtered. And the story that I didn't complete the other day about the seance and the, you know, what we do at slumber parties and stuff, because we did some trance on this girl. And we were like, oh, she's fake, because she was doing all this stuff that we would tell her. And so then we were, you know, you're faking, you're faking. And so then we said, go drink a cup of pee. So she did. I don't know. I don't remember her drinking the whole thing, but she definitely drank some. And that was like, it's a haunting memory of mine. So anyways, yeah, I'm not ready to go there to drink pee. But so, anyways, so I never know with her about what she wants to do on a walk. And oh yeah, the cute thing was when this one neighbor that I have is so weird, because these new guys that have moved in, they are doing like their whole yard is a parking lot. It's like kind of trippy. And the one, he's like using some chemical. It smells so fucking strong. it's like, dang, you guys, we're in the forest. Like, it's so weird about all our different perceptions and how we perceive and how we live, like what feels good for us. And so what felt good for Stella this day is this one lady, she has this tall ass grass. It's so fucking cool. It's like pussy willows or something. And she has it all growing in the front of this like down old log thing in the front of her yard. And the rest of her yard isn't really landscape. This is like a natural landscape, which I like the natural landscapes. I have a bunch around in my yard. And so she has this really tall grass. And so Stella's on her hunt looking for the tall grass. And not this tall grass, but when she found that, it was like she was in heaven. She was going through it and feeling it on her body, shaking around in it. And I was like, oh my God, you little hippo, you. It was so fucking cute. But then yesterday, our walk, and I was not prepared at all. And it had been, the weather yesterday was so fucking bipolar. I got up in the morning. I even did a video because there were so many songbirds. And it was so pretty listening to it. And so I did a little minute nature wake up thing. And then I go let Stella, I was just started pouring. My whole yard was like filling up with water again. Like it was like a fucking river in my yard. And my yard goes down. So, but my house goes up. Like there's other people whose houses are thing, but I don't know if theirs goes as low. But anyways, all the talk of floods, it's like, I was looking around like, what's gonna happen with theirs? What's gonna happen with theirs? What's gonna happen with mine? And me and Stella were on the deck thing, and there was just a ton of water. And I thought it was going to go like that all day. And then all of a sudden it stopped and it dried up real quick. I was like, that is weird. It didn't dry up. There was puddles and stuff everywhere. But the sun came out again, and it started like, I don't know. It's been so overcast. And when it comes out, it makes it like the appearance that it's breaking up this overcast clouds. But there's so much artificial bullshit. And then, it's like, is that even just the picture they're showing us in the sky? Like, is anything real? I mean, because I wasn't the only one. I saw somebody else the other day figured out, and I had said this a few weeks ago. I said, watching the lives really will fuck with your head. When you see people who are live and it's sunrise and it's still sunset here, and they're clear, like they're in Japan and stuff. And so there's somebody else who has, I'll do a video about that, and said, yeah, we're all under the same sun. We're like, I was watching lives and they have a sun and we have a sun. So how is that possible? And yeah. Please explain this to us. So it's because it's all fucking bullshit what they fucking tell us. And so anyways, so then it seemed like it was going to be kind of nice. And we went out for our walk, and a lot of times I put on my extra, like I have this like snowsuit clothes. It's like outdoorsy, whatever. I don't know. Maybe it's camping gear. Maybe it's stuff you wear under your ski clothes. I don't know, but I wear it all the time because I'm cold all the time. And so I go out. I for 100%, 100 motherfucking percent. Like it's manifesting how it goes. It's like you feel it and it's shown and it becomes. And me and Stella have grown out of this space 100%. And even on the walks, I notice like she just wants to go up in people's like she needs more of her own space where she can just go out and there's so much adventure that is, and she's looking for adventure. It's like so obvious right now. And so we went out, and so I was just out on little slipper booty things and my sweatpants things. And I had like a jacket thing though. And so I were walking, I just thought, oh, we're going a little quick meander. It's not gonna be long or something. I couldn't believe it. She just kept going and going and going. If you're walking an English Mastiff, you're the one being walked. She's very trained and stuff, but she has a mind of her own. And when we're out on her adventure, she's like, she owns it. Like, this is mine. We're going to do what I want to do. But I've also, allowed that. I didn't train her out of that. But also, English Mastiffs, like, it's like they know their power and strength. and they're a little self-absorbed, a little selfish, but the sweetest, most caring, protective animal. Like they're such protective dogs of their people, and they're not vicious. They don't hurt anybody. She's never bit anybody. Even yesterday, we got attacked on the walk. 4 fucking dogs come running out. Somebody's like, they let them out because they were gonna go check their mail or something, and their dogs tear off, go over to their fucking mailbox, start sniffing, can obviously smell that Stella was just there. Look at us. We're like a house down. Look at us, these 4 vicious in there, like rare gnarls, like that, with their fucking teeth, and coming at us. And so I start yelling right away, and I'm thinking, where the fuck is this goddamn person? And I start yelling right away, no, stop, go back, go, stop. And the little black one was like, fuck, she just dove in on Stella's face and started biting her. And it didn't even fucking, and Stella never fights back. She's shaking them off, like pushing them, barking back, but she doesn't even get all like snarly. And I mean, I've seen her attacked so many times. And so that's why, I feel pretty safe in saying, when people come up that she will not bite them. But, with some people, her mouth hits into them, and she's got a big jaw. Like, it hit into my wrist the other day. I was like, fuck, that fucking hurts. Her tail, fucking, that's a weapon on its own. So, anyways, further in the walk, in the beginning, when we had left, so she starts going, and she keeps going. And so then I'm like, okay, so she wants to go back in the woods again. So we keep going, and she starts pulling me into the woods. I'm like, motherfucking shit. And it was just so muddy, like the whole trail was just mud puddle. And I'm like, hell no, we're not going there. And so, and she keeps trying to lug me. I'm like, hell no, I'm not going there. And so, you have to be so stern with her. But see, she's older and she'll listen. A younger one will just keep going. And so we turn to go back the other way. And I say, you want to go back home now? And she's like, nope. And she goes off. So then it's like, oh my gosh, now what? So when you go, because my neighborhood's a giant circle. And so now we're walking the whole circle all the way back. And on this one part, it's a lot more houses and a lot more dogs. And then when we get down to that part, it's not dogs that she knows. Down here, it's like these are her posse down here. And she goes and plays with some, but even the ones that she doesn't play with, they're all familiar with each other. And they all alert when another dog passes. But a lot of the dogs that passes us are out walking, so they're familiar still. And like those little 4 dogs down there that attacked her, they aren't familiar. They probably just, their whole life is just viciously running out to their mailbox and running back in or something. And probably super protective, not socialized except for with each other. Like, I don't know. They were so extremely vicious, but I've had this happen, so especially with small dogs. They're just like so scared of her. But like, fuck, they're vicious. Like, go running up to this giant. Some animals can't even figure out if she's a dog and what the hell she is. And these ones, it was intense, man. So we walk and we go the whole way around. In another walk that we used to do, we would go and walk through the new neighborhood. And then we have the walk where we'll go walk in the forest. And then we have the walk where we'll do this. Well, she decided we're doing a combination. She was going to do the forest. I wouldn't go up in there. So then we came back from that. Then she does the circle. When we get down like 2 fucking things from our house where the new neighborhood turns, then she just goes and angles in like, we're going there. I'm like, no, come on, we're almost home. Nope. And then she didn't even just go walk a little bar. No, she went and did the whole entire thing. And there was some weird shit. Like, they have a whole bunch of places where they are set up to put these houses in. These houses are all just like, it's so artificial because they're all like so cute. There's one that was really cute. And, but they're all just thrown together with shitty, they're not made well. And then they just pop up so many and then put them all so close together. It's like, we're going to make your sardine can so cute for you. You guys will enjoy it so much. It's like, no matter what, it's always crushing us in. And that is like, I'm feeling it so strong. Me and Stella both feel like, it's time to spread our wings. It's time to get a bigger space, you know? And, but that doesn't mean I want to lose this one. I still, want to fix it and not use it as an Airbnb, but use it as a travel availability kind of place for people who want to travel or go and heal or something, because it is in a great place. Like even on that video that I did about the birds waking up, somebody reminded me like, oh my God, I wake up to horns honking and stuff. It's like, yeah, it's a lot nicer to wake up to birds singing than the obnoxious, aggressive behavior in the city. And so, and it's more natural for our soul. Like the obnoxiousness of horns and higher, like the car speeding and gunning it and stuff, that's not relaxing to our soul. And then you wonder why all these people in the city are all on antidepressants and anti-anxiety and everything that crosses the blood-brain barrier. I'm still kind of tired. Because even though I'm starting fast, I haven't been up very long. And that magnesium spray on the feet, I swear to God, that stuff conks me out. It's like melatonin or something. And almost like even where I feel like I got kind of hungover. It's that magnesium spray. And I didn't even think it was that strong, because I'm telling you, taking that lysine glycinate, which maybe I just really need lysine glycinate in my magnesium. I don't know. Like, I'm no chemist or anything. Like, I didn't even like chemistry. I kept on saying, like, to the chemistry teacher, he even was tutoring me. I would go up to his work and he would try and explain things to me. I was like, okay, but this doesn't make, but how do you know? How do you know? But you just have to trust. Well, I've been through this before at church, I'm not like that. I have to feel it. And, oh yeah, this is, there's other weird things on the walk, but this is another thing too about having to feel something. Okay, hold on a second. I gotta take a breath and take a drink. Fuck. I feel like I don't know. This feels so weird. Things feel so fucking weird. Hold on. It's pouring down my face too. God, I'm a mess. Okay. Finished up. Now, back to it. Okay, so I had just heard this morning. Okay, there was a video that I'm dying to talk about. And it's weird because I had seen it, I don't know, a week ago, and I don't know, I had other things on my mind or something, and I hadn't given it my attention. But I've gotten comment after comment after comment on my comment that I had left. And so it keeps drawing my attention back to it. And then I'm like, and I still, was just answering the questions. But today, how it was, when I was answering something, I heard more of the video. And I realized, oh, I stopped early on this video, which I do that all the time. And there's so many times that I'll listen the whole way, and then somebody will come out of like the side field with something at the end. I was like, what? I didn't see that coming. I've unliked people after I've already liked them on some of the things that people have said. But a lot of times it just keeps going and going and going and going, and they just keep repeating themselves. And it's just like, my mind just can't stay there. It's already gone somewhere else, and I'm not paying attention anyways. So why am I just sitting there? If I'm sitting there and I'm not paying attention, I'm in a daze. I'm always in my own little world. It doesn't take much for me to get there. Like, there's reasons why I was called all these names when I was a kid, a daydreamer and all this stuff. And so and why in school, like I would disappear as soon as the teacher would start talking. I was no longer in that classroom. And unless there was something happening. And that's why I've advocated before for hands-on education. But that's before I saw what the education system really was. Now I advocate for close it down. Close this shit down. And so anyways, this video I saw this, so on that one, I had heard that other bit. And so then it was like, oh my gosh, okay, now I see what I'm supposed to talk about that. But this one, this other one that I had seen is more, because then I was like, okay, well, I kind of need more things to talk about. But there was another thing too. I got that then. So that my and so I was like, I should check and see if anything's going on. The very next video was one I was like, I could only listen for a few seconds. And I heard, but it was like, had so much going in my mind. I was like, okay, I can't go any further. That's when it was like, okay, my brain's going to blow up at this point. And so this one that I had just seen was, that I only listened to a few seconds. So I have no idea what else they said. But, you know, I didn't need what else they said because I already had what I said inside my head. And so when you think about, because like I'm always saying, everything in this world is like how you perceive it. And like how you have people who perceive that there's a God over them, that they perceive that there's a God that will forgive them if they're kind enough and call his name out and stuff like that. And then you have people who perceive that there is a, you know, another God figure who is over them and makes them do bad things. And that one's so sneaky and will trick them. And so, like, you know, but for me, on the level I look at that as like, you don't understand yourself. You don't understand dark energy. And you're looking for a scapegoat, an excuse. But they don't understand life on that level. So that's not how they live their life. But when you see things on another level, then you look at the other level. And I don't know if it's part of my thing is to open my mind in all those variances and not just be, because it is easy to start being like, what the hell with these people? Like, you know, and you don't want to get in this state of arrogance and arrogance over their ignorance, because they're all here to learn. And not everybody, this isn't like new information for everybody just because they forgot it. But anyways, that's why it's you working on your own frustration when you find frustration in some of the stuff that's happening. But this, so in perceiving, everything is how you perceive, is how you look at it. That's why you've got to get focused on how you look at it. Because, you know, most people are looking at it through other people's eyes, and it's causing them friction inside of themselves. It creates chaos because you're not in alignment. You're not in balance. So you have to pull into self. And then the person, this person was talking about this guy who did some interview or something, and he was talking about the energy of the energy of the universe is feminine. And it was, in my mind, I started hearing people saying, you know, God is a woman and all that stuff. And so what I want to explain is, for one thing, because his dad, I guess, is coming back out or something, or his teachings or something about these old Hopi Indian teachings or something about, and you got to remember too, is when you're talking about tribes and stuff, just like how they said that this time, how they labeled it, was the time of mirrors, because it is a time of self-reflection and is a time of growth and stuff. So you got to think about how they perceive and how they communicate, because this is all in translation. Everything I do or everything I say is the translation from my own guidance of how I perceive what they show me. And you perceive through, you know, there's talk, it's so vast. Like, I don't even, like, if you're not living this way, all I can say is it's a lot more. Like, I don't live that way on, you know, at whatever points that I did, it was still not to the degree. I feel like so many people have shown themselves of how they're so trapped in the mind trap of this dog eat dog world, which is so weird too. Because I decided this morning I was going to put on a movie, and you know, I'm going to break things up. And so I was putting on this old movie that had popped up, and it was called Garment District or something. It starts right off like them saying about something with clothing and this. Oh, I can't remember how they had said it in the start, but like they had created this, clothing thing, but it created all of this competition. They created a dog eat dog world that wasn't safe. And so it was basically what they were saying. And see how they did it with fashion and design. And it's weird how I just keep seeing this stuff. And then that popped up and it was like, yeah, see, that is what I keep seeing. Yeah, it's totally, everything that they've done. It's like, and there's actual creators and stuff out there who go into these certain kinds of fields, but it's always to shut it down, control the creation. And so on and see on there's so many different levels of this, even like with the people who are in so fear of the 13 original families, these vampire people, whatever the fuck, all of this stuff. And then oh, it's Luciferian, it's devil worship, it's God, like the level that the conversations go on this earth plane at this period of time in this awakening. And so my perception is different. So yeah, it's going to always sound a little odd, but I think it's waking other people to remember inside themselves what I'm saying, because I don't know. I think it's so the whole thing and how religion was created and stuff. But you think about this too with all these different tribes, because there's tons and tons of different tribes. And it was all just groups of people, like think of soul groups going down and going in to learn together. Now it's more expanded. But it was, these groups. And so it is like in the different tribes and stuff would, depending on their level, but they would have a connection to the spirit or the natural. And they knew that there was something that was out of their control. And it has been on all different levels, I mean, there was some all the way back, whatever, that the sun rise and the different things that have happened, the weather. It's like, I can tell how the weather with Stella, how she looks at it, but here on my understanding, and I can go look at the weather thing and stuff. So it's all on your level of understanding, how you perceive, how you understand something. So you had all these different tribes understanding things on different levels. And as some were very spiritual and very connected. Some were connected, like there was the aliens, other beings coming from other places that they were accepted could educate these different tribes and stuff. So there was tribes that had communication. There was tribes that, that had people like me who were in communication, who they would go to them and ask. And then, the person in communication would talk. And so those people, I think those were like where they became like shamans and, where kings and queens would go and take those people and use them as their guides and stuff. Like these, they kind of merge in the shows and stuff about turning into like witchcraft and stuff, but the ability to be able to communicate and somebody who's an herbalist, that's two totally different things. So they kind of merge it into this like magical woman or something. Sometimes it was a man, a wizard or something, but it wasn't all them going and doing spells and stuff, but that could also be where somebody can use their power and do a lot more things. So it depends on what the lessons were with the group and all the different things that were supposed to play out. See, it's very distinct. There's all these different stories playing out. And so the different tribes have different perceptions and different perspectives. So how they explain something, you got to remember that they're explaining things how they understood things. And so you've got to also translate for yourself and adapt to more of your understanding. Don't just go back and, don't go backwards, add in more stuff for you. So develop your understanding. Don't drop it off and go jump on somebody else's all the time. So anyways, on the whole thing about the feminine energy in the universe. Okay, so think about, there is the light and the dark. And just on the whole thing with us, you got to think about the micro, the macro, the light and the dark. And the dark is considered the masculine, the protector. It's a different kind of energy than the light. The light is the nurture, the create. It is, but we have both inside of us. And so the light is the creation. But when you think of the gradation, how I keep talking about the bleed out, but if you go backwards too. But so that energy of the light of the universe would be considered the feminine energy. But there's people who would take that to the level of God's a woman. And it's like, you guys are not looking at it right. It's an energy. And there is the creative, nurturing, light energy. And then there's the dark, heavier, protective energy. But they work together. They come into the yin and the yang. They work together. They aren't meant to be separate powers. They balance each other out. One by itself has no identity of what it is. Light doesn't know it's light without having dark. Dark doesn't know it's dark without having light. So they need each other. Just as when you want to develop yourself and you're going through your life, you have to become in balance in your light and dark to pull in a partner who is also in balance. That is why so much with our dating and our relationships and stuff has been so broken, because nobody was in balance. We were all trying to fill ourselves with somebody else's. Like we were a little too far this way, a little too far that way. We would get in these relationships, but the relationships that we thought were the safety net were really there to show us and tell us that we were out of balance and we needed to pull into ourselves. And so then when you go and you take the time to do that, and develop yourself and become at whole and at peace, that is the energy that will start coming into you. And so that is where you will pull in more peace to yourself and stuff, because all the other stuff is to teach you the chaos, the stuff is to help you to understand yourself, to develop. But that is the trap that they set, is to victimize yourself, to always blame others and all their labels and their diagnoses and their, just forget about it, run and take some medicine, or go to their counselors who will just keep you in counseling for years and years and years because you're just going in circles. And when all you got to do is learn how to take responsibility for yourself, slow down, pay attention to what you're doing, know yourself, know your own bad habits, and then work at it. Just like that zoom in, zoom out, being able to go in and see your bad habits and, interfere with your bad habits, change them up. And your relationships will start to change. But you have to see your part. You have to see the part you play in your own life. When you go around being the victim to everybody else's, then, you feel like a victim, you feel bad for yourself, and then you become toxic and you need everybody's attention, everybody to be, surrounding you all the time, feeding you with their energy, trying to make you feel better because you're becoming an empty shell. Well, you got to learn how to, heal yourself. How to, and the craziest thing about it is it's all a change in perspective. It's all to just, change your perspective, zoom in, zoom out. It is just change how you look at things. It is, go from paying attention to what's happening there to looking over there. And it's just like what I was saying yesterday about, if you're just focused on your big broad shoulders and all you keep thinking is, everywhere you're looking, oh my God, my shoulders are bigger than theirs. The crazy thing is that you will start seeing it bigger than it is. Like there was even a point where I was buying, because I was so sure I was giant, because go get clothes and they don't fit on my sleeves, and there was so many signs that was coming back to me. I thought I was giant. I was buying like extra large clothes and large clothes and stuff. I mean, I always had these swampy swallow. Well, I still have a lot of clothes like that. I like big baggy clothes, and but then but I was buying extra large clothes, and large and stuff. And so then it was when I was getting fitted at a nursing thing for, I don't know, I don't even know why. She was coming in and helping me. Some of those places do that. I don't know if it's like their sales thing or whatever. But anyways, she was one telling me, you need an extra small. I was like, what? And that really just like, wait a minute, what? I need a large or an extra large. And she's done, you need an extra small. I was like, so that really, I mean, I can't stress it enough. You will see yourself in what you keep thinking. So you keep thinking, oh, my giant shoulders. You're not looking for all these girls with bigger shoulders. You're looking, your shoulders just become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to yourself, and the more you stop focusing on your shoulders, the more your shoulders won't be something to focus on, you know? And I don't know how to explain it, but this other thing is what got me. So this video that I had commented on. So this girl, she was talking about, she has got this growth on the side of her face. She's named it. A lot of young people name everything, and everything has gender, like everything. And isn't that weird? That is so weird. It's like the group of people who say we have no gender, genderize everything. Like everything they like is a she too. She's this, she's that, like everything. It's weird. But anyways, her growth, see, was a boy name, like, because she named it Jimmy. So the things they don't like are boys, and the things they like are girls. It's kind of juvenile, really, when you think about it. Like some of the levels where we are in our understanding. It may have been one thing when everybody was on a script, but the scripts are falling apart, and you're having to think for yourself. You're having to like look outside the box and stuff and put it all together. So, anyways, so she has named her facial growth thing, and then she went. So she's talking about this growth thing on her face, and that she has no money, she has no insurance and stuff. And so at that point, I had just gone in and commented about, because I mean, this thing hasn't had a big breakout in a while. I did put some oregano oil on it this morning, and then put some more on my nose, because it felt like a little tiny, like I can feel a tiny, tiny little like thing there. But I think it's almost gone. But that doesn't mean another one won't come, because if it's from the injections, which I'm pretty damn sure, like where else, like what, so so I don't know, if I'm gonna get any more. I don't know if that was just like a pocket of botulism or something, just got stuck there, like I don't fucking know. But anyways, I think it's almost gone. And so I was saying in the thing, like, you can heal yourself. Like, you can heal it yourself. You don't have to go to the doctor and stuff. Use natural stuff. Use castor oil and oregano oil and stuff. And then, I'm really into the horse-based. And so I was getting comments, and I don't know if one of them was her. Well, I know one, because she was saying that she uses castor oil. And she will have to look into the other things or something. But there was more comments that I've had. And so that's how I saw more of her, what she continued to say. So then she pulls her dog up, and her dog has one of those big things that Stella always gets, right on his stomach. And I know that when I first took Stella into the doctor form, then she said, they're probably this, but, we'd have to biopsy them. And they did do a couple of biopsies, and they were nothing. And I don't remember what they said they were or whatever. But anyways, some of those that grow on dogs, they just, I'm not really sure. because, you know, it seems like the horse paste makes them go away. Like she was getting like a big breakout, and then all of a sudden they're all going. I just ran out of horse paste, but it's supposed to come tomorrow. So I'll give some more and see. Because I'm definitely feeling her body and feeling for, you know, if they're getting bigger or smaller, because that is really going to tell me for sure that those things are just full of parasites. It's just like what that guy's saying, that they come in, your body creates a tumor around the stuff to encapsulate it so it can't go out and infect the rest of your body. It's like your body is its own fucking what was that would be called, like how I see it as like during like medieval times or something, where there's kings and queens and knights and stuff and protectors and stuff. Like your body works like that inside. And but you wouldn't see, like, you, if you're thinking about kings and queens and stuff like that, these are more like cells. Like, you know, it all depends on the level of how you see things, because we are really just like cells. And so, but look at how we can look at each other and see, like, so anyways, so she was showing her dog had these things. So she's like, so he needs to go too. And I don't have any money. I don't have any insurance. There's so many people begging for help on the internet. And that's why that's going to blow up, because it's going outside of you, because you are the one who's here to help yourself. You're here to, you know, like, come up with a plan. Like, there's something in you that grows from the experience. I can't just say, oh, you got to do this. No, it's too variable. You got to figure out how to go internal, to go into a period of reflection, learn how to listen to yourself and trust yourself. And so you know, she's like in the crowd, like there's so many people doing this, and it's been going really for a while. Like, how long has this GoFundMe thing been going on, and how many things has it even blown up? And like, it's all just toxic, you know. And so she and then she keeps talking, and she says, well, I thought I was going to die anyway. You know, I've been saying for a long time I'm going to die before I'm 60. So I think this is what's going to kill me. And she's probably like 35 or 40. I don't know. Or early 40s. Like, so when I heard that, I was like, oh, what the fuck? God damn, people don't understand shit. Like, you say that, you will make it happen. And that, you know, I would venture to say that would be your lesson when you got over to the other side and you did your life review, that you would see, you know, you got to take responsibility for the things that you say, the direction that you take yourself, how you look at things. And, you know, my dad did that my whole life. Was always, and my mom even talked about that. Even when my dad died, like right when he said he was going to die, at the same age, like he had no liver, he kept going because he had to get to that, you know, where he said he was going to die. And, you know, my mom said he said that forever, and she feels like he definitely did himself in. But it's not like you go do yourself in. It's like, it's like there's two parts to it, you know, the feminine and the negative, the two energies. And the one energy is, you know, you can learn and grow from the thing. And then you have the energy of the you, it's like this giving up or surrendering kind of energy. Or something else I wanted to say, but maybe it'll come to me. But so, yeah, when you sit there and you say, well, you know, this is what's going to happen. So it can be that you are listening to your soul. Your soul's going to tell you, like, this is where it ends for you. It could be that you're listening to yourself. But it can also be that you are the one who's creating that. And that's where you would get over and learn it in your life review. So that is, you know, I can't tell you for sure. But when I hear it as you are creating that. You're making that happen. Like my mom has always, since I was a kid, like like my grandpa, her dad, I'm not gonna say my grandpa because we didn't have that relationship. Her dad, he was almost 100 when he died. My mom's always been like, you know, she's always felt like she's gonna live a long time. And when I was a kid, I used to think I was going to die young. And I was a very risk taker. I was like, no protection of self. I was just like, yeah, let's do it. There were certain things like, um, I mean, the whole thing of me jumping out of an airplane, that was because my uncle did it. He was from Vietnam, so he had jumped out a lot of airplanes, and so him and his friends jumped out of airplanes all the time, and I just thought, wow, that's so cool. But then I'm scared to death of heights, so I mean, if we were all standing up on a cliff and said, let's jump in the water, I'd be like, hell to the no. But there's other things, like if somebody came over and said, well, let's try this, I'd be like, oh, okay, let's do that. So, and I did have a few scary things, like trying all these different drugs and stuff. I wasn't like trying all these different fetishes and stuff. I was more of a try different drugs kind of person. And I was always wanting to escape this place. And so but I had never got addicted. That wasn't a part of my life journey. And I did have some experiences like where I was having palpitate, like having crazy things happen inside my body where I was like, fuck, I gotta get a handle on my shit. And that's why I felt like when I got pregnant with my daughter, it was like this bringing me into, it was like going through a new door. It was like, well, you don't take care of yourself for yourself, but you gotta take care of yourself for her. And I changed my whole attitude about things. So then that's when I started reading all this stuff about reincarnation and near-death experiences and all that stuff. And so, but with so with the people saying, okay, so anyways, so I used to say all the time that I was going to, I didn't think I was going to live long. I thought 50 sounded old. I was like, fuck, man, I bet you Then my grandpa, though, died, and he was in his early 60s. So he was, like, around my age now of when he had died. And my grandma, too. Those were my grandparents. And my other grandma, which is so weird, too, my other grandma, the nurse, the one that was, like, very tough. She was, like, very tough. Like, she wasn't a hugger. She would have been more like a, ooh, like, but I could always see the soft side of her. And so I didn't ever take her serious, but she was scary. And, but the other day I was doing something. I was like, oh my God, I have my grandma's body. I have that grandma's body. It's so weird when all of a sudden you realize that. It's like, it's weird because like your body won't necessarily match your siblings or something. Like my sister is shorter than me and more shapelier. Like I've always had people making fun of me over my body, I'm telling you. And so she's shorter than me and more shapelier. And so anyways, like I have a bunch of things coming into my mind right now about that. Because it was always be like lots of guys liked her because she was shapely. She was very, very confident. And I was very much not confident. And she could never understand that. She couldn't understand me. And just like my mom, she couldn't understand it either. She was like, I thought she had a completely different idea than what my truth was. And so anyways, when I was young, though, I used to think like I was gonna die young, or I would say that or something. And I don't know where along my path that I started realizing, like, if you say that, you'll make it happen. And it was just something I learned. And I don't know if it was in my readings or whatever, but it was something I learned along the way. If you say something, you'll make it happen. And there's just a lot more elaboration and when you go into spirituality. You have such a different understanding of things than you do when you aren't into spirituality. Even if you're into religion and you think, well, I'm into religion, so I'm obviously spiritual. It's like, it's different. It's different. Religion is different than spirituality. Spirituality, like religion, they have somebody to take away their pain. It's going to, come in and say, oh, all of your horrible things you've done, it's okay with me. So, forgive yourself. It's not magical like that. And so anyways, people who are religious don't have that same thing of, learning how to forgive yourself and then not make the mistakes that you're going to have to get yourself into the point of needing to forgive yourself. So it's a new way of approaching life. It's a different way that you live. And so, anyways, um, throughout the experience though of learning and stuff, I learned that you make things happen. If you say that, if you keep saying, I'm gonna die in a car crash, I'm gonna die in a car crash, you'll die in a car crash. Like, and there's that thing like, well, did they always know and that's why they were focused on that, or did they make it happen? It's like so close together, the two things, because it's really about the lesson afterwards. It's about how you get to see, how you get to distinguish. And it's so internal. It's so much your story. So there isn't, you know, you are the one who determines the ending. You're the one who determines. Did I see what was I looking at? So that is, the benefit of your life review is so that you can determine. It's like the test. It's like, so you get to see how you did. And it's not because there's a good and a bad and you fail or pass. It's this part, this learning part. It's like, well, did I see it or did I create it? It's like this connection, this whole thing. And so and that's another thing too. Like, I can't just go in and tell somebody, because it's their lessons. Like, I keep seeing that all over the place where it keeps just standing out to me like, this is different people's lessons. You can't stop everything. You can't save the world. You can't get everybody to take fucking horse paste and not die. It's like all these things have to play out in all these different people's lives. And so, and everybody's got to just, this is everybody's opportunity to learn their lessons. And your lessons make so much more sense when you get to that other side, the defining part where you get to define yourself. And then, these people who think like they're waiting, get in the pearly gates for this guy to say, okay, well, you didn't do so bad, when I forgive you. And then other ones could come in, they're like, nope, that one thing you did, no, you're going to hell. You're burning in hell for the rest of your life, dude. You should have said my name. And so it's like, it's so absurd to me. But that is a true level that people really have an understanding of life about. And it's not my understanding of life at all. And so, I keep sharing how it is that I see it, because the part where I see it seems absurd. And what I hear people saying seems absurd. Like there's no, like, you're doing shit and you think like you're just out to try and get this guy's forgiveness, or you're going to either burn in hell and, your friends will probably be there anyways. Like, that's not what's gonna happen. I maybe want to start thinking outside the box a little more, because it's you are the ones who has to put things back in balance. So if you're going around hurting people and thinking, oh, no big deal, well, you'll learn how big a deal it is in your life review, because you'll see how you put things out of balance, and then you have to fix it. You have to go in. So there is it's almost like if you're going to go around murdering a bunch of people, then I guess you're going to go back and feel. And it is not just like, oh, well, you're just going to go back and be murdered. I'm like, oh, that would be the easy way out, wouldn't it? No, you're going to probably go back and, you're going to have a child who's murdered or something. Like the stuff that goes back in balance, it's hard stuff. That's why, to me, it's a lot better to be a lot more mindful in life and be thinking of the bigger picture. What's the purpose here? How could things play out? What should I be looking at? It's so different of a way of living to me when you are taking responsibility for your spirit, for your soul, and what's happening here, and in the things coming at you, the experiences that come your way. It's all for you to learn and to grow. And I don't know. It's just so, there's so many things, like just little interactions and stuff they'll have with people. And it's just, everything is so much about how people perceive and what it is that, what you zoom in on and what it is, like what you zoom out of, what you don't pay attention to and what you zoom in on. And it's just strange how some of the things that people will zoom in on. And you know, so often the things that people zoom in on are the things that drive them crazy. You know, like my big broad shoulders. I hate them. It's like, well, try and do your best not to focus on them. Try and do your best to focus on something else. You know, maybe grow your hair long. You know, like kind of hide your shoulders a little bit. And then you may be like, dang. And then maybe you get a lot of people who are constantly talking about how beautiful your hair is. And don't forget, if you want beautiful hair, is it's about the nutrients and stuff. You got to get the chemicals. Uh, Chemicals are going to affect, because this is what you got to think of it as, like your antenna, your gauge, your thermostat. And it's like the little red part, you know, that moves around. It's showing you. And that is another thing too that I told that girl, that because she was saying something about oh, I left I left quite a few messages today, but she said something about it was itchy, and so it drew her attention to it. And it's like, that is your body communicating to you, but you're not reading it right. You're not listening right. So it's drawing in your attention. It's itchy. It's like, oh, there's something there. Wow, there's a growth there. What is that? And then it's like, to me, catch it before it's, I mean, because the thing with the skin cancer is it will go in. And like I had said, this one, and I think that this black line is getting better. But what was concerning me was that it was, once it is eating through here and erupting through the skin, it's eating through other tissue, which is so fucking weird to even say when I don't believe we're flesh and blood. Yeah, but in this game where we are, where we pretend to be, or whatever the fuck. So this, it started eating away at this. And I kept on, like, sometimes I'll even feel like, you know, is there parts of my bone that is deteriorated? But remember, bone can grow back too. So it's more of when you go into the natural, like your teeth can grow back. Oh, there's all this stuff can grow back. And that is what we're going to have with these other med beds, the med beds that I'm looking forward to, not just these healing center med beds. Like those ones, I still say we need those in our houses. We need to be able to have a space that is a healing vibration, that we go in and do our meditation, or we go in and, you know, take a nap, you know, if that's what your meditation is, because you can have communication through dreams. You don't have to just sit and, you know, it's all up to you how you want to communicate. But that higher vibration, it heals us, especially when you put your body into like a dormant stage, like unplug, like you're not just sitting there scrolling and shit or interacting. You have a period of withdrawal, of peace, and so your body can regenerate. And I feel like we all need these rooms inside of our house for that. But I think it's a part of just I don't know. I don't want to see the corruption in the healing industry, but we do have a corruption in the healing industry. And in the spiritual community, when everybody is just, all these people are all about money, it's not all about money. And for people to keep thinking everything is about money, money is the root of all evil. Like, you got to think of that kind of stuff. Money is the idol. Like, you don't need to be going and looking for money. You need to be going and building a relationship with with the universe, asking them for what you want, showing them for what you want and stuff. Not, you know, money, give me some money and what I'll do for money and let's get money and all this stuff. It's like, this is so wacky. Oh yeah, and one of the other things too is my daughter had told me last night. She said that there was a lot going on Twitter with Diddy. There's more coming out on him. And this Jaguar, boy, she does go to town, like, fuck. And there's video footage of her at some party with this other woman who I don't know who this woman is. Like, I feel like there's people in these different communities who know who these people are. Like, I don't know if they're music people. Like, I don't know. Like, Jaguar, I guess, was a singer, too. But see, they promote, like, and if you have morals and you go against them, you know, it's, they'll just knock you down. But they're talking about Justin. Like fucking Justin, and he was a kid, man. He got rammed. Like, that's Diddy's job, apparently. But there's more coming out, too. A lot more coming out, and how violent he is, I guess. Like, that one guy who was saying when he was listening, because he could hear it. He was like the security guard or whatever, and heard what was going on in the bedroom. And he was the one who was like, and so there's more coming out. There's like 80 people or something, 60 or 80 people who have made charges. Like, this is big, of all this stuff that's going to be going down. And it's going to keep, just like, like it's a double flusher. It's going to just keep, more goes, more is there. More goes, more is there. It's just going to be, this is going to be kind of like a part of our life here for a while, is the exposing of how really bad it really was. And there were so many people, like when I started telling people, back when I was trying to wake people up back in 2020, and I would try and tell them. And now I know that my daughters have some of these voices in my head of the things I have said. But I don't think that they, even when my daughter was here the other day, I was like, yeah, but it's way worse than that. Like, these people like to eat little dark people. Like, it's way worse than that. And so there's going to be so much more that's going to come out. And there's going to be so much that people aren't expecting. But it will be things like, oh, my God. Because they already are feeling so much like that. Like, there's things that we were all saying and they thought, this can't be true. This can't be true. Well, here we go. Here we go. The truth being spilled all over the fucking white tablecloth. It's going to be nasty. So, and it's going to keep going. And so anyways, but just on all the different things that you hear. So even on, because now I have Edgar Casey coming into my mind. But Edgar Casey is more kind of our times if he was saying stuff. But if you listen to Nostradamus, he's like talking in another language. And it's the same with these different Indians and stuff, or tribes. And then there's also the thing with the people who all of us who channel, all of us who translate from the other side, it's all for our perspective. Because I hear people and they still talk on the God and devil level, So even that one lady that all these Christians, which I thought the Christians didn't trust any of that. So I don't know what she has said to get all these Christians on board. But yeah, how she translates stuff is always on this God and devil thing. So, and to me, it is, I don't know, the forces of nature. This is where we had life was out of balance. The yin and the yang, the yang, the dark, or, if it is the dark part, I don't even know. But the dark part had gotten way too big and the light had gotten too small. And the light, it was like those of us who were in the light were like suffocating. So now it is the universe. It's like this rebalancing, a shifting of energy. And so it's like this turning of energy that goes back into the light, but it's like the light's going to come in and hit hard, but then we're going to go into a period of balance. That's going to be where we go into the age of Aquarius, where we're actually living. The age of Aquarius is a time of balance. And then it will go back out of balance in some way or another. But hopefully, as beings, we've adapted to where we can just keep it going. Like, I don't think the Pleiades go through all this stuff of like what we are going through now. It's like we're breaking free from that. It's like we're getting into this period of balance that I don't think we'll ever go so out of balance like this again. Like in the earth, that doesn't mean that won't exist. Like there will still be realities where that exists, where you will still be able to go out and play out these lessons and these opportunities and these games, because there's a lot to it. It isn't just all the bad stuff. There's a lot of good stuff. Like there's a lot of good things that come from being in a body. So, or being in this density. So, and the more you can appreciate that, that's more of having gratitude and appreciating then that is also where you zoom in, zoom out, where how you look at things, what you pay attention to. And when you learn how to be in a period or state of gratitude and noticing the good things, then more good things will show up. It's just like, you know, you're going to notice your big shoulders, you're going to notice the good things. And then when you keep noticing the good things, more and more and more. And pretty soon you're talking about magic and synchronicities and stuff. And so, anyways, that is, you know, all about you learning how to shift your perspective, broaden your horizons, opening your mind, and being able to look and see more. And if you get stuck in a period of judgment, that holds you, confines you into that space. That is like a diseased space, because it has no growth. It becomes stagnant. And that is why in all of this, and it's kind of like in this psychology thing, is there's so many people who are going no contact with family members. And some of the stories I hear, it's like, you know, and I have a daughter who's decided, you know, to jump on that trend too. And but there's some of these stories that I hear, and it's like, you know, there's some vicious family members that are, you know, where you do have to protect yourself, and you know, and if you have your boundaries be that way. But I think also you should work your way up to that. Like, you should work on your boundaries, because that's what they're there for. Is these people who push you so hard are there to push you to have better boundaries. And the boundaries aren't just escape. It's not just run. You know, to have a healthy boundaries is being able to be uncomfortable and tell people no, and walk away from things and stuff. And it is very uncomfortable. Like, we all have adapted to not wanting to feel uncomfortable. And it became easy to not have boundaries and to just, but then, you know, we're just being thrown around like tumbleweeds in the wind. And so you have to, you know, take yourself and stop. And running from people who make you feel like you have to set boundaries isn't the best way to grow. It is much better to, you know, stand up to people. But then, you know, if somebody is, you know, attacking you all the time or assaulting you or something, then, you know, you have to, you know, move out further with your boundaries. You have to push them back further away. But it just seems like it's the go-to in our period of time right now. And I just feel like it's part of this toxic, because they've got so many things that are infiltrated. And yeah, your mental health, it is not the best way to go to figure out how, you know, how to isolate yourself and only surround yourself with people who will make you feel good. Like, that is going to have your life out of balance. It's like you are creating, encapsulating yourself. It's like you're making yourself the boy in the bubble of life. So you want to learn how to trust yourself, and to be able to stand up for yourself, to pull in this masculine side of yourself. Oh yeah, this I saw in this movie yesterday, and I thought it was really this was a good scene. This was an old movie with Matthew Modine, and he was an author who decided to go and teach in prisons. And so the people who went and take his class, one of the guys was, he had been a Black Panther, and he was very much about this movement. And so when they were arresting some of those guys, they got ridiculous sentences. And this guy was one of them who had gotten like this life sentence for just being in the place with somebody who killed somebody. He was with those people, but he wasn't the person who did it. It wasn't planned or anything. This person just freaked out and shot somebody, and the person died. The shooter didn't even get, he was already out of jail. But this one guy who was, you know, just, I don't know, up there in the Black Panthers, who was trying to make this movement of equality and human rights and stuff for darker skinned people, that he was supposed to be in for life. And he had this like a super spiritual way of looking at things, but he wasn't going to share too much. And this teacher was really impressed with him. And so anyways, it's about this friendship and how this guy ends up getting him out of jail, gets him a new trial. It was really good. But when this teacher very first started coming on too strong to this guy. He was there, his kid had come. So right when he had gone to jail, he had just had a baby. And so, or the girl was pregnant or something. So my stomach's growling. I'm hungry. And so so he had this adult kid who's like 18, 19, 20 years old. And because he's been in jail now 20 years. And and all the other guys are out. And so he's sitting at this table having this visit with his son. And this teacher comes up and starts talking to him. And the guy gets mad and puts Matthew Modine in his place. Like, I'm trying to have a visit with my son. And the way Matthew Modine handled it was very gentlemanly. Oh, I'm sorry. Have a good visit. It was very gentlemanly. I don't know. Wasn't, but he was kind of put in his place still. And I was thinking, man, it happened to a girl, she would be crying, be falling apart. That is the part of us that has got to get with the boundaries, where we're not falling apart, that we can, take somebody else setting them. And that helps us learn how to set them too. And, for somebody to be able to say, hey, no, move on, and men can take a lot more of that. And I don't know if it's because in their training they weren't allowed to cry for so many decades, but there is, like, I've been in so many relationships with men, so I've been around their friends and stuff. And there is a certain way how men treat each other. And I always was like, man, you could not do that to a girl. You could not say that to a girl. And anyways, that just stood out to me in that movie again. And so but we have got to also get ourselves into that more, we don't fall apart because somebody doesn't like us or something. I mean, especially, like, it's so even built on women, like, as this is a corruption of the feminine energy because of this patriarchal society that they created is heavy in the masculine. And so we have been beat down and suppressed and repressed and stuff. But it's like where we have to build up to know and feel our own power to, become the king of the jungle, to become your powerful self, to not be weak and fall apart, because how somebody looks at you. And especially to put it on the level for us of what we look like physically, like, to make everything about that. But look at how it started turning in society. It started turning in on itself, where women started being very, well, I can go fix myself up. What's wrong with you? But then it was this artificial, really phony, fake side. And there's girls that are so phony and fake who think like they've got all the power and stuff. So everything has got a dark side that is being revealed. Everything has these parts to notice and see. But definitely what we're doing as a collective is creating that balanced society, that yin and yang. And we can't do it as the society, just like you can't create a partnership without first creating the balance inside self. So that's why we're having all this opportunity to create this balance inside self, because then it naturally goes into a balanced society. And we have to also learn that we all have different opinions about things, and that we can open ourselves up to other people's opinions. And that doesn't mean that you have to believe it or grow or, go all with it, but to, take it in as part of your reference, part of your understanding. And a part of the understanding is just understanding that everybody looks at things differently, and it's all based on our own life experiences throughout multiple lives. So anyways, I think I got it all out of me. Like, I'm looking around in there. Was there more? Was there more? I think I cleaned up the mess. So, just remember to love yourself, to love everyone, and have a loving day. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.